E.J. Jackson is deep to return here for Stratford. We were expecting Anderson, and it bounces off of Jackson's hands, takes the fortunate hop forward, and they're going to start shy of the 15-yard line. Could have been worse after bobbling the opening kickoff there for Jackson.
Yeah, that's exactly what Joe Marion didn't want to see as the ball was coming down. Again, this has got to be a clean game for Stratford.
Against Berkeley Stags defense, that is one of its most improved units now in a little bit over a year under Randy Robinson. He came in wanting to stress the fundamentals of tackling, and while it worked out last year, he thought the reason this team lost last week to Daniel was simply because they didn't tackle well enough.
Question at quarterback tonight, no question. Here, Travis Lott going to take the first snap.
Yep, and he's going to give it off. Big hit right through the middle, applied by Raymond President there, as the opening carry of the game goes into the belly of Akil Wright. We'll see some of Wright. We'll see some of Mario Anderson.
Like we said, there's 4 running backs that could see action tonight.
So from the 17, this snap doesn't even make it back to the quarterback lot, and Berkeley jumps on it. A gift given right over to the Stags. They couldn't get the fumble on the opening kickoff, but Jalen Thompson, only a sophomore in the middle of that defensive line, has Berkeley in position.
Well, you see the problem there. At that point, you just fall on the football. Travis Lott, a junior quarterback, starting his first game. I've also got another quarterback, more of a runner. Travis is going to be the guy who throws the ball tonight.
So here's Eric Tuttle now, first-year starter. Dean told you, completed 9 passes last week. He's got Keyshawn Wicks in the belly, and he'll move the pile forward for about a yard to Trey Pringle in on the stop.
You know, the interesting thing about the Berkeley-Daniel game last week, while Berkeley came up a little bit short, they outgained Daniel by a little more than 100 yards. Tuttle again throwing for 197 of those 347.
A lot of them were little bubble screens as well over the middle, wide open and through the hands of Navry. Damon Navry, 32, now 22.
Navry just came right down the middle, right up the middle in the seam. Nobody picked him up. That's what you're going to see with this Berkeley offense. They're going to spread you out a little bit and then try to take advantage in the middle.
Navry will see his touches. DJ Chisholm has yet to get his hands on the ball. Here's 3rd down now for the Stags. Well protected. Tuttle misfires. This time he was looking for Navry once again. Good stand here by the Stags after fumbling it away on their second snap.
We didn't have a chance to talk about him. We will as this game goes on, but we talked about an eclipse happening on Monday. There is an eclipse on the left side of the Berkeley line in the name of Camry McCray, number 78, 6'5", 310 pounds.
So this will be a 32-yard try for Tate McMurray, who was good on his only attempt last week from 26. Great look, but the snap was low, and it was never put down. So Stratford dodges a huge bullet here in the opening game of their 2017 campaign. They fork it over at their own 15 and only give up a yard.
Yeah, sloppy play, first series by both teams. A missed touchdown pass and then a bad snap on the field goal. Takes a possible 3 off the board.
And it moves Stratford's offense forward. Now they're out to the 20.
They picked up 5 on the play.
We do expect to see a couple of quarterbacks for Stratford. Travis Lott was the first. He got 2 snaps. Now here's Ryan Robinson, the junior, who was a receiver last year. Played mostly in the slot. And they're going to pick up a couple of yards.
Robinson is the guy who is probably going to run more of a running game here for Stratford. Lott again, the thrower. You know, and when you're trying to find an identity, especially offensively, and you're not quite sure how you're going to go. And again, I mean, the last time they played a game was in Sertoma the second night. Played a half of football, weren't able to put up any points against Baptist Hill.
Akil Wright takes it away from Robinson, and at the ankles he is grabbed and is able to pick up some positive yardage. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Dean, how about the Subway recipes for success?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, you know me better than that.
Berkeley, don't stagnate. Berkeley's got to be able to move the ball, get the ball into Chisholm's hands. There's a need for speed because they've got it, they've got to use it. And for Stratford, it's a whole lot of quarterback. Travis Lott, and now we see Robinson, and they've just got to be clean and mean. So far, we've not seen the clean part. Need to see the mean part as well.
Third down and short. This one got right over the hands of Gary Stevens, the leading linebacker for the team. Probably got in the way of the intended target, and it'll bring up fourth down.
I think that was Sincere Brown on the outside, number 80, 6'4", 170. We saw some tall wide receivers last week. Somerville and Shaq Davis, another tall one in Sincere.
Back to return is Cam Myers. This is a pretty good punt that's going to bound away from him, and he'll back off. It'll be spotted down at the 30, so it's about a 44-yard punt there to flip the field over for the Stags' second possession.
And as sloppy and as wet as this field is, and again, they got, I mean, it has been raining here for what seems like about 6 months every day. To get 6 yards off the roll, that's saying something.
In talking with Joe Marion today, he said it seems like they've been snake bitten around here every day. These pop-up thunderstorms with the sea breeze pushing them in. This is the epicenter. This field has been pounded almost daily by thunderstorms. That's
right, Dave Williams. That's very good meteorological terms there.
Dave's the best one in the area. So if I'm going to pick up some terms, it's going to have to be from him.
Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right.
Knights are offside. They'll gift the Stags 5 yards here.
Again, got to be clean, not clean. On the sidelines for Berkeley, a longtime coach here, one of the better players that we've seen come through there. Mal Lawyer is the wide receivers coach for Berkeley.
Here's Wyndham split out now for that receiver screen, and he angles his way in front of Justin Eaton out of bounds, and that'll move the chains.
You saw how quick the ball came out of Robinson's hands. Found his open receiver, picked up an easy, 12 yards on the play. And again, the guy we've going to keep an eye on, number 3, will be at the top of your screen, DJ Chisholm. He may not be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, but he is the joke. He is the jack of all trades. Wide receiver, running back, quarterback.
Tuttle able to set his feet. That's a pretty ball, but into double coverage looking for Myers, and it's knocked away by, I believe, Polite.
When they get back tomorrow morning or Sunday, when they take a look at game film, they're going to look at that. He never looked to his right. He had Chisholm wide open, beat his man down the sidelines, throws into double coverage instead. Lucky that one was not picked off by number 23.
This isn't a Berkeley team that looks familiar at all. Granted, there was a 5-year stretch as they transitioned out of the option. It's just strange, even still, to see this gold and blue running more of a pro style or college type attack, not the option.
Yep, Jeff Cruz tried to speed things up here during his time, struggled over a 5-year period, had one winning season. It was 9-5 back in 2014.
Stags need to get to the 46 of the Knights. It is third down here. Tuttle is dropped. Crashing down Katre Pringle, number 77 there, applying the hit.
Well, another nice stand by the Stratford defense. And, you know, we've gone 2 series now. We've not seen Chisholm touch the ball. You had pointed out, I think last week, he touched it maybe 11 times the entire game.
That's it.
And he ran the ball 9 times for 55 yards. It's a pretty nice average.
Yeah, they need Chisholm to touch the ball more. That was a focus of their work in practice this week, according to Coach Robinson. They'll move him around, and he needs more than 11 touches. But we are about 5 minutes in here to the first quarter, and he hasn't touched it. This ball topples its way down towards the 17. And the Knights will officially take over at the 16. So not a whole lot of offense here to kick this thing off. The Knights fumbled on their first possession, really on their second snap. Stags couldn't do anything with it and then missed a field goal. We've already seen both quarterbacks play for Stratford. We had Lott get the opening few snaps, then Ryan Robinson.
Now he goes back to Lott. We've got a 4 wide receiver set here.
And here's Mario Anderson's first carry of the game, and Anderson is met as he gets through the first wave and gets into that second level.
If they're going to run the football, they're going to concentrate on pounding the right side. That's where you've got Roush at 300 pounds. You've got Martin at 275.
Anderson looks the part there, doesn't he? Big, broad shoulders. Anderson's a guy who is starting to get a few looks. Some of the colleges here around the Southeast.
They flip the wide receivers at the top of the screen.
That ball wasn't handled cleanly by Anderson, but he finds the hole with a burst of speed, and Mario Anderson is gone. Breakaway speed for Mario Anderson, 81 yards. And the opening score of the game is a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy 81-yard touchdown.
Well, you were talking about his broad shoulders. I was looking how nice they looked, and all of a sudden his legs took off. I didn't even take a look at the legs. You talked about they really weren't sure if they were going to have that handoff was a little high up into the pads. And then, again, it's that 4 wide receiver set. Opens up the middle. Some good blocks. And the young man is off and running. What do you say about getting looks?
Yeah, he's starting to get some looks.
I would think so.
When I was talking with Joe Marion as this extra point is blocked, I was speaking with him today. He said, look, in the preseason, he kind of just opened our eyes because 2 different plays in scrimmages, he got the ball in a little bit of space and ran away. A couple of 60-yard touchdowns. He'll top that here in the opening game of the year with an 81-yard scamper. Stratford leads the visiting Stags by 6 here early on. I know this looks strange. We just left you after a missed extra point, a blocked one from the Knights, and we rejoin you with the Stags lining up for an extra point. Sometimes they're not so accustomed to TV games at the high school level. They went early before the Red Hat wanted them to go, and it was an 87-yard kick return, and you're going to get a look at it right now. Trust us, it happens. It's Cam Myers.
Watch him find the outside. I was telling you about Mal Lawyer, one of the coaches, one of the great wide receivers to ever play here, played at Clemson. He was number 4 as well. Cam and Mal. Look at him go. He waits for his blocks.
Navry's the one paving the way all the way down there with him.
So after a couple of really sloppy series, we get 2 80-yard plus touchdowns.
That's right. And now I promised Rocky Huggins there would be no disparaging remarks because it's not necessarily the official's fault here. They're just not accustomed to staring at someone and being given the okay to kick the ball off.
Right.
So now they take the break.
Well, why, Rocky?
Wants to give these guys some water. You know, the benefits of the storms that were in this area for most of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
While the field is sloppy, it is a nice, cool, relatively speaking night. We're in the low 80s here.
No, you're absolutely right. This was it was a treat coming out here today, and I'm not going to say a cool breeze, but a breeze that is cooler than normal for a late August high school football game. And I know that a couple of schools did postpone their games today. I think Fort Dorchester postponed. I think there was one more. When I was out here walking the field with Joe Marion, I asked him if there was a chance, and he looked at me like I had 3 eyeballs.
The field, the crown of the field right there in the center, it's in pretty good shape as you get towards the sidelines, particularly if you get then back into the far corners of the end zones. That's where you're really starting to get some pretty sloppy turf.
Right, and the concern, too, is, you know, these are athletic departments that are operating on a tight budget. And really the last thing they need or want is for their field to be chewed up in week 0/1, whatever week it is. So, you know, that's the concern of most of these coaches. But, you know, the weather pattern that we have seen over the last, couple months, it is, it has rained most every day, especially inland. Because as you so pointedly pointed out, the sea breeze keeping everything off the coast and pushing it all back in.
Yes. Now it's Mario Anderson who had eyes on that one and elects to take the ball at the 20 instead.
Tell you what, through the years, and I talked about it in the open a little bit, some of the running backs that have come through here, really just the level of the talent that has come through this high school has been phenomenal with Harold Green, and Coach Stackley's got some great stories with Coach about Harold Green. And Rodney Kinlock was one of the better ones, went on to play at Penn State, kid at CSU right now. Mo Thompson was tight end, defensive end that was Mr. Football, had a short career had a career at USC.
Ryan Robinson now back in there, and Akil Wright is met as he gets across the line of scrimmage.
A little counterplay again, running to that strong side of their offensive line, or the heavy side of their offensive line, should I say.
That was the star end. Berkeley has some of their positions named. You get the star end, the drop end, the stag linebacker.
That's who you want to be, right? You want to be the stag linebacker.
It's their guy, right? It's the senior Gary Stevens, number 2. You'll hear his name called a few times. So on second down and long, Robinson doesn't have it out there to the left, and he throws it where absolutely nobody is in what will very likely be an intentional grounding.
Well, we are, and a rarity, we don't do this often, but we are on the visitor side broadcasting tonight. So a couple of the Berkeley fans with their arms raised to the heavens, and
I guess he was out of the pocket. So
I thought for a minute he was going to try to tuck it and run.
Third down, it's Wright who paves the way for him, but Wright can't shake Xavier Watson. So Robinson doing it all himself, yeah. Went for the strip as well, but Jaden Miller couldn't jostle the ball free. And all that running, it'll result in about a 4th down and 3.
It was about a 30-yard scamper to pick up 2. Looked like the same play they had called on second down. Stratford coaches must have seen something they liked, but
some confusion here on the Stratford punt unit.
Just 10 guys on the field. Clock down to 11 seconds.
You got the man who took the kickoff back 87 yards back to return this punt, but he's going to stay away as it is dead on that wet turf.
Yep.
At the 35. So really, Stratford's offense has yet to get going. There was one play that broke free, the big play that for Mario Anderson. Other than that, very little going for the Stratford offense, and the same can be said for the Stags.
Yeah, 2 3-and-outs for Stratford after the fumble on their very first series, which gave the ball to Berkeley. Stags not able to do anything with that because of a bad snap on a attempted field goal.
Well, Dean, coming up, we will get to hear from the newest member of the Friday Night Rivals crew. I'm not sure Josh is ready for this, but Josh Rogers is down there. Yeah, he's ready.
Opening night for their season. Berkeley looking to bounce back from that.
So we're going to
loss against Daniel.
take the controls back from Josh.
He's ready. The mic was not. Tuttle shows off the arm again, looking for Chisholm, but that one about 3 yards in front of him.
Oh, I talked about Chisholm on their last series being open on that just fly route. Again, got behind his defensive back. But Tuttle just overthrowing him a little bit. Find a little air to put under that ball. And
we didn't get that interview, though. We didn't have audio.
you're looking at a plus 65-yard touchdown. Chisholm's going to come off.
Well, the speed is what concerns Joe Marion and the Stratford Knights. We've seen it on the kick return, and we've seen open men down the field. That was a touchdown to Chisholm if Tuttle lays it in there.
Yep. On that first series where they missed the field goal, you've got
Frequency.
a wide open receiver over the middle in the seam for a touchdown. The ball's dropped. You know, for Stratford, again, this is their first game. You know, they got to play Sertoma, half a football, a couple scrimmages, so they're going to work out some bugs here.
1, 2, 3. Mike.
Tuttle has to keep it. I believe we got a face mask in there.
They also got a ball on the wet grass.
Yeah, recovered by the Knights, but even the Knights don't expect to have it.
Let's see what the call is. I was watching to see where that hand, whether it got up into the face mask, and they're going to call maybe a horse collar, which, nope, your face mask is correct, sir.
It was coming right at us. And
They do a
is
nice
the 5-yard variety.
Uh,
You don't love it, do you?
no, I'm not. No. I'm going to trade that one in for a vowel because I think they missed it.
Malachi Bell is the one who's tagged for it. Here's Navry now, and Navry is able to work his way out to the 40. He didn't think he was down. He might have had a case there. Malachi Bell, same one who had the face mask, is the one who's in on the stop. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
I think they picked up. I mean, they didn't step off any yardage on that face mask, so maybe they waved it off.
They gave him 5 yards from the spot, and the spot was back at the 30, so then it was back to the line of scrimmage. How's that? Is that a good explanation?
Yep.
Maybe?
Yep.
That'll work?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So 4 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Berkeley has just one first down. Wyndham, for a moment, I thought had intentions to throw, tucks it away in the left arm and scampers for a first down in front of Brandon Polite, their second first down of the first quarter.
Dervon Pesnell. The number 7, the wide receiver there, allowed that first down to take place. Kept the defensive back at bay, allowing, that's Polite, allowing them to pick up the first down. Nice job of downfield blocking.
Now the junior Tuttle. They put a lot on his shoulders to run this offense. Not too much on his shoulders there, giving it to Gary Stevens. See, that's the Stag linebacker, Stevens. He'll get some carries also.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, when you are the Stag linebacker, you're expected to do quite a bit. You know, Berkeley, Robinson had to deal with the transfer of his starting quarterback last year, Ben Bastian, where Tuttle now steps in.
And they had Darius Douglas last year, who, according to Robinson, the reason they were able to have success last year and win the region is because Douglas bought in to Robinson's coaching style, and after he did, the rest of the team followed suit. Here's Stevens now plowing ahead before stumbling over his feet at midfield. It'll be 3rd down and about 6.
Somebody got a hand inside to trip him up because he had another 5 or 6 yards ready to go. Oh, it's the Mighty Duck. It's the
Mighty Geese.
It's the victory formation right there.
A flock of, I don't know,
It wasn't
20,
seagulls.
30
Keep talking. Should I keep talking?
Canadian geese. Nobody's covering Dervon Pesnell inside the 10, and he's caught from behind by Blake Mars, leading returning tackler for the night, saved a touchdown down at the 5.
Well, the same guy that held up the block allowed the first down of the series to continue. Turns up the big play and some great hustle by 33 to catch him from behind.
I said it was Mars. It was 33, Jordan Judge, who caught him. Not 37, Mars. So Berkeley has an opportunity here. Are they going to run over the left side? Find their big guard, Cameron McCrae, number 78. No, they'll run away from him. Gary Stevens stops in his track, cuts it back downfield, and he runs into the arms of Judge.
Been really impressed. Just the interior work of Stratford. Not a lot of luck running inside for Berkeley. They found a lot of their success on the outside.
Berkeley hasn't tried to run behind Cameron McCrae too often. Not here in this first quarter, which is about a minute and a half remaining. But he's a people mover.
He's a grater.
Yes.
Oh,
Got a flag here.
and it-
False start.
Randy Robinson really, preaching. And you hear it a lot in this day and age of changing the culture and changing the attitude. Started in the summer in the weight room, trying to get these guys in there and create camaraderie, create teamwork and effort, playing for the guy to your left and to your right.
Tuttle, quick two-step drop. It's off the fingertips of Dalen Brooks, the senior linebacker who's waited his turn, finally starting in his final year of eligibility.
Brooks kind of dropped back and looked like Tuttle never saw him. Certainly had an opportunity for the interception. See him dropping back to the right side of your screen. A little bit behind Brooks, but still enough to tip it away. Create this third down opportunity for Berkeley.
This will be the 9th play of the drive that began at their own 35. Third down and goal here for Tuttle. Lobbing one on the fade, and it's knocked away by Jordan Judge. And we got a flag in as well. Wyndham was the intended target. Jordan Judge is all over the field. Unfortunately, this one likely against Stratford, which will give Berkeley a new set of downs.
It's just a little wheel route out of that wide receiver split.
Though it's the Stags who are backing up. Yeah, pass interference.
You like that call? You a fan of that call? Is that what you're saying?
It's tough.
I'm going to tell you right now.
From the angle we saw,
Yeah.
coming from the backside, is it? I'm not sure. I don't know if the arm got around early.
I'm going to tell you right now. This game has got me a little nervous.
Oh, yeah? Here's Keyshawn Wicks down just outside of the goal line.
We are sharing our broadcast booth with two Marco's Pizzas and David Shelton, the king of high school football. So anytime we say something may be questionable, he kind of like turns his neck quickly. He's going to need a massage in the morning because he's done it about 4 times. So he's going to be like our third guy in the booth that we don't let talk.
Well, someone has to keep us in line. And if their job is to keep us in line, then of course we're not going to let them talk.
So Dave's point was the defender didn't turn his head around.
And they're in. They finally went behind the big guy. And a touchdown for the Stags. So a couple of penalties down around the goal line, a false start, then a pass interference. It kept the drive alive, and it's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. This one from Eric Tuttle, first rushing touchdown of the year.
We get a chance a little later in the game. We'll get an ISO shot of Cameron McCrae. Again, 6'5", 310.
Yeah, he's a giant out there. It's not hard to miss him.
He reminds me of a kid who played here that went to South Carolina, Jabari Levy. Remember him, Dave? Yeah.
So he's keeping you in line. He agrees with you.
He was massive.
There have been a lot of players to come out of the Stratford and the Berkeley programs. Courtney Brown, I'm sorry. I think I'd get that one right. Went up to Penn State. One of the top picks in the NFL draft.
He was the top pick.
Yeah, him
and you know what happened to
Arrington.
him? You know what happened to Courtney Brown?
He got hurt.
No, he got drafted by the Browns.
So that's what hurt him. This is our Zaxby's Fans Cam. We'll give you shots of the Zaxby's Fans Cam throughout the evening. We're also going to sponsor our halftime show. Chance for some free Zaxby's if you pay attention throughout the broadcast.
The Berkeley fans, the student body, has shown up with tie-dye shirts.
Some of them saying Woodstock on it. They also have the sign of the year so far, although
what do you got?
It's not up right now, so I'm wondering if in my humor it was not safe for air or not safe to be displayed because the student section
over in the Berkeley side?
No, on the Stratford side.
Oh, okay.
The way we are looking, just to the left of your screen in the black shirts, a lot of the student section there.
Yep.
And
can you say what the sign was? Do you want to write it down on a piece of paper?
And it was taking a shot at the opposing quarterback, Eric Tuttle. I thought it was a fair shot. It wasn't anything.
Did it say "I love
terrible"?
Tuttles?
No. I'll do it at the break. We'll see. Ball was thrown behind him, but a good adjustment there for Jonathan Bogues, the go-to guy, the deep threat. And aside from the touchdown run, that's the biggest play of the night for Stratford. It'll go for 21.
Well, you've got two receivers in the same area. You got Bogues and also number 80, that's Sincere Brown at 6'4", 170. You know, in this game, we've got a kid named Sincere and a kid named Polite.
I think we have two Sinceres, actually. There's a Sincere on both teams. That's not very polite. He's grabbed by the back of his jersey, unable to get anywhere. Jalen Thompson's the one who slowed down the ball carrier at first.
That's Walter Williams. He's the no-name running back. Doesn't have his name on his back.
And we have an injury as well.
Is that Chisholm or is that Stevens?
It is Gary Stevens, number 2. And you did just see his right arm move, so that's a good sign. And we did not see what happened. That was right where the pile unfolded, right where eventually Walter Williams was tackled. So as they check on Stevens here, give you one look at it, see if we can see. Number 2 coming in from the top of your screen right here. And he got hit by his own man. Jaden Miller is the one who fell on top of him.
Hard to see exactly what happened. Didn't look like his legs were caught up at all. We got medical staff from both Stratford and Berkeley on the sidelines.
And they've got him up.
Maybe it's a
you never want to speculate on exactly what happened. From the view we've got, pretty tough to tell, but certainly a good sign to see him up on his feet.
looked like maybe his neck or kind of wiggling his neck around a little bit. Again, I was kind of focusing in to see what was going on with his lower half, and maybe, as you said, his teammate rang his bell.
So that becomes a storyline to follow now for the remaining 3 quarters. That's one of the best defensive players on the Stags, the leader of the defense for sure. and someone who's gotten some snaps offensively. So will the Knights even snap this before the end of the first quarter? They will. And here is Akil Wright bouncing off the first hit, getting into Stags territory, and picking up about 7. And that's how the first quarter will come to a close. A couple of first downs on one drive. That's the first time it's happened all quarter for the Knights. They'll start in Stags territory when the second quarter commences here in Goose Creek. I think it's a Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. Second quarter begins with the Knights on their best sustained drive thus far. This is the fourth play of the drive. And we got a flag in here. Walter Williams at the carry.
Love how Joe Marion rotates his running backs. When I was talking to him before the game about who would step in and get the starting quarterback nod, you said all week long we're probably going to see both guys play, and we certainly have. When he looked at me, he goes, you know what? Not really my problem. I'll leave that up to Denny, which is another storyline we haven't talked about. Denny McDaniel, longtime assistant under Ray Stackley, left for 2 years. Was the head coach at St. John's High School, and now has come back to Stratford to run this offense.
They say Denny has infused some energy back into this program. Joe Marion was really heaping the praise on. So after the penalty, they're going to get most of that back on the little screen there to Walter Williams. And we'll check in now with Josh Rogers. Can we hear you now?
All right, still experiencing a little technical difficulty down the sidelines.
That one's low. Sincere Brown ran a good route. If it's at his chest from Travis Lott, that's a first down. Instead, it'll be third and about 13.
Yeah, he had him. Sincere just kind of went and found an opening in that zone, that defense, and Travis just came up a little short, got to throw through it. A lot of family history with this quarterback.
Well, he's under a ton of pressure here. That's a perfectly timed screen pass, but Williams couldn't keep his footing, and he is down about 8 yards shy of the first down. Plenty of daylight in front of Williams.
Well, he had a lot of help in Pringle and Tidwell out in front of him, and he just lost his footing as he made the right move. He made the right move trying to cut back to the inside of the field, but the turf gave way underneath him. So there are your two big guys. You see the turf kind of kicking up underneath the shoes. I think the referee had pulled out his yellow flag and was either going to throw it or wipe his nose with it.
He was debating it, but we got a fake here, which isn't going anywhere. Xavier Watson blows up the play. That was Blake Mars, who was the up back, and Mars loses 7. They'll spot him at midfield.
It looked like he was ready to throw the ball, and his option across the middle was covered up. So gambling early on here, down 14-6.
The defensive line for Berkeley has been able to get some solid penetration all throughout the first quarter in a couple of minutes. Risky move. Obviously, if it pays off, pays big dividends, but instead, the Stags, who have touchdowns each of the last 2 times they touched it, a kick return and then a long drive that resulted in a Tuttle touchdown. So with the momentum, they've got the ball back, and Keyshawn Wicks spins his way for a couple.
Keyshawn Wicks, the ball carrier from Berkeley.
Looks like
Brought down after gain of about 3.
stepping in for Stevens is number 8.
Here's the Berkeley offense, brought to you by Chevy Silverado. DJ Chisholm, we've told you about. They want to use him all around the fields. And here he is on the receiver screen. Stratford had it played well. This is the guy that they're zeroing in on, and it's Jordan Judge, who's up to make yet another stop here, all over the field early on in this first half.
Devon Navarre, the running back, trying to pick up a block on the outside. As you said, Judge has played an impressive first quarter and a half.
They lost 3 yards there. So it is 3rd down and 11. Tuttle looks off the left, throws into triple coverage, and it's picked off. It's Jordan Judge, because who else would it be? The over-the-shoulder grab down there at the 10.
By Stratford, the offense will take over at the 10-yard line.
Jordan
How
Judge
about
making
having
a
a
run
guy-
for our player of the game.
How about having a guy who can stuff the hole, who can penetrate on the outside, and they can drop back in coverage and reel one in.
So the turnover battle is now even, 1 apiece. Stratford fumbled the 2nd offensive snap. Maybe the 3rd offensive snap. And Stratford will continue to play the quarterback game of musical chairs. Ryan Robinson, the junior, the better runner of the 2. And this one is going to lose 5 yards.
Oh, what a nice play by Jacob Dunn, the sophomore linebacker, crashing through the hole, not allowing a running back to really do anything. He was on him really quickly.
Where'd they mark him? Down there about the 7, so officially he's going to lose 3. Still don't see Gary Stevens out there. In fact, I think Jacob Dunn is one of the guys playing in his place. Maybe the guy in his place, the sophomore. Look out. Robinson under a ton of traffic is eventually dropped. Xavier Watson, who stuffed the fake punt, he's in there, along with Jaden Miller.
Well, we talked about a minute ago about changing the culture. He said it started really in the summer in the weight room, but he also really wanted to work on his offense and defensive line. He wanted them to get him stronger, more agile, start working together. And you can see those big uglies up front for Berkeley really taking control of the line of scrimmage right now.
2 seniors on the outside. That one off the face mask for the intended target, falls incomplete. And after getting the turnover, which essentially was like a punt for the Stags.
Yep.
And the Stags backed up the Knights offense. So they'll punt from the shadow of their own goal line here.
On the last couple of punts, Berkeley's had some good pressure, had some good push up the middle.
Cam Myers remains the return man here. We expected to see a lot of DJ Chisholm. That one almost blocked. He's going to get it away.
I'm not quite sure what the man in the white hat was doing. Standing right there as the Berkeley defender ran into the punter. No flag thrown. Would have been not a roughing, but a running into the punter. Wouldn't have resulted in a first down.
but it would have given him breathing room, maybe a little bit more comfort for the next punt. Instead, Berkeley starts at the 42 of the Knights.
Quality camera work. I say white hat, and what do you see?
Boom. There he is. That's your lead referee. Dennis Caldwell, who almost got a piece of that.
I mean, it's really up to you. You talk about it, you guys want to talk about it.
So 7:40 to go in the opening half. And Wicks slides his way through the left of that line. Has about 6.
You take a look at the breakdown of the offensive plays last week against Daniel. Again, very good football team. They were heavy rushing, 34 rushes, 19 passing attempts. But that was 199 yards on those 9 completions. So they've got the ability of those big plays.
Wicks able to bounce one to the outside, and he is dragged down from behind. That's Jordan Judge once again. Typically, he's been on the left side of the defensive formation. That time, he makes the play on the right side of the defensive formation. But it's good enough for a first down.
We've obviously seen something over on that left side, just kind of pounding away, pounding away. Wicks ran for 65 yards last week against Daniel.
You know what they see on the left side of that line? 6'5", 310.
You think so? We think so. Let's go do it again, shall we?
That was right behind the spot vacated by Cameron McCray, the junior who holds an offer from South Carolina. But he's got bigger dreams than just playing football. He wants to major in engineering. He's got a 4.0 GPA.
Pretty good.
Offensive linemen need to be smart. They don't get the credit for being the intellectual brains of the football team.
Mm-hmm.
But it's complicated. It's more than just getting dirty and hitting someone in there. Second down and about 8. Tuttle gets it out of his hands quickly to Wyndham, and he was off running before the ball got to him.
Tuttle's pass falls incomplete. Brings up
He threw to
third down.
4 different receivers last week. Wyndham with 3 receptions. He certainly put the ball right where he needed it to be. You know, and you've seen it on a college level, and we talked about it in the past, just, you know, how offenses have just started to spread things out, get some open room, have a receiver like Wyndham catches that ball. He's got 1 defender to beat, puts a lot of pressure on the DBs.
Third down and 8. This is going to put a little bit more pressure on the Stags.
Flag for a snap.
Stags coming off a 17-10 opening week loss. 5-yard false start penalty.
Against the Stags, we'll back them up and we will replay third down.
Meanwhile, Stratford is opening up the year.
Check 2.
Stratford's got to go to Cane Bay next, and then, you know, it's not easy to come back from a 1-9 season when you're in the region that they're in. Fort Dorchester, Ashley Ridge, Somerville.
Well, that's, you know, you take a look at the schedule, and to have a strong showing tonight, and if you can steal a win.
Third down and 12 on the run. Tuttle fires a strike. DJ Chisholm on the receiving end of the first down pass. They needed 12. They got about 14 there.
Well, you love the athleticism of Tuttle to get out of the pocket, and then he puts it right where he needs to be. But the impressive part here is just the hands of Chisholm. I think he's going to have a little conversation with the DB. Something along the lines of, nice to see you.
Showed the feet a little bit as well. That ball got to him. He stopped, a little bit of a hop. Got him out of bounds there. So this is Navery, and Navery maybe picks up a yard. All right, third time's the charm. Josh Rogers, how you doing down there?
I am great. Can you guys hear me this time?
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. There we go. Joined by Dr. Gerald Yaden of Yaden Chiropractic Clinic. We're talking about concussions in football. Obviously, over the last few years, the way we view concussions and treat them has really changed in the game. For you, you're the former team doctor for Berkeley. What do you do when you see a possible concussion? How do you treat it to make sure it doesn't become a persistent problem?
Well, you want to make sure that the boys are healthy when they're playing, or any of the athletes are healthy.
You want to get them under control, and you want to go through all the protocols so that they can get back to playing ball as quickly as possible.
So football has, obviously being a high contact sport, you have the injuries you cannot see, like concussions. You have the injuries you can see, like lower body injuries, knee injuries. You were telling me you used to play football, you still have knee problems. How do you treat those long term?
Well, in my office, we treat them with a combination of therapies, and I have helped a number of people to keep from having surgery on their knee, having those replacements that nobody wants.
Right. All right. So talking about knee injuries, concussions, where do you see the game of football going from here to keep players safe?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of redesign in the equipment, but I don't want to see too much change with football because football's a lot of fun. What's better than being out on a Friday night watching Berkeley and Stratford go at it?
That is right. There's nothing better. Thank you for joining us. Dean, Darren, back to you guys in the booth.
Josh has been indoctrinated well here to Friday Night Rivals. He gives an interview, he finally has the mic work, and there's a big play behind him. A deflected ball that somehow falls into the hands of Wyndham. And Mars right off the fingertips.
Boy, I'm not sure why that would have called a pass interference when you've got a tip ball.
It shouldn't have been. Once the ball's tipped, there is no more. Tuttle didn't have that one cleanly, but what he does have is a large offensive line to push his way through to his second Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown of the night. 3 straight times. Well, how about 3 out of the last 4 times the Stags have had the ball, they've found the end zone.
Yep, again, they've got a short yardage situation. They have the advantage every time, probably in most games this year.
They were gifted a short field and they took advantage of it. Had a big 3rd down conversion on the strike from Tuttle to Chisholm that kept the drive alive. Then the break, which I guess they wouldn't have needed because it would have been pass interference anyway.
That's right.
But the break that fell into the hands of Wyndham. And Berkeley has taken control of this first half. Wyndham does a little bit of everything. Here's Wyndham now holding for Tate McMurray.
I like that. I like that kind of player. Does he play defense, though? That's what we got to find out.
He does. He could get in there.
Yeah, that was the other thing that Coach Robinson very pleased with is that more so than a year ago, they've got guys competing at positions. So, you know, whenever you got competition at a particular position, you're going to have, you know, probably a little bit better play.
Competition makes everyone better. Always competing for a spot. It helps you compete better once the lights actually come on. Just a 42-yard drive, but it's a touchdown and a 21-6 lead for the Stags. Berkeley has found something offensively. It's resulted in a couple of short touchdown runs from Tuttle. And also have a 83-yard kick return, 87-yard kick return for a touchdown from Cam Myers.
I think it's a big possession for Stratford right now.
We'll start with a high hop that bounds its way back towards the 5. I believe that's Anderson, who plows his way out close to the 30. Let's check in again with Josh Rogers.
All right, guys. Well, second time already. Now that we got the mic working, I'm joined by Wade DeRoe. He's the CEO of Low Country Chevy and GMC, family GMC. Now, tell me a little bit. You guys are in St. George. Tell me a little bit about what you guys are all about.
Well, we're Family Chevrolet GMC, like you said. We're a local dealer in St. George, and we pride ourselves on our family name, and we like to treat all of our customers like family.
All right, and so you're in St. George, but you do service the Low Country and Goose Creek, correct?
That's correct. Goose Creek, Somerville, Charleston, we're anywhere from 25 minutes to an hour away. Love to come see us.
And talk about that family service. What does that mean? When they step inside one of your dealerships, what can a customer expect?
Well, we want them to leave feeling like they were like family. And we'll serve them, and we'll also deliver to their home or office. So they can come see us in St. George, or we'll come see them.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for joining us, Wade. And Darren, Dean, send it back to you guys in the booth and back to the action.
2nd down and 4 here for the Knights. Knights are working with 3 timeouts. No real sense of urgency, and it is Travis Lott who has the reins of this drive. Keel right bluffed, and the Berkeley defense wasn't fooled as the carry went straight ahead for Anderson into a throng of players.
Love the idea of picking up big yardage on the first series, or the first down, 6 yards, and you come back with the same play. Why not open it up there on 2nd down?
This is your Chevy Silverado offensive look for the Stratford Knights. Ryan Robinson is in there, or has been in there regularly. At the moment, it's Travis Lott. Lott, the better arm of the 2. Look at that grab. A ball thrown behind Jonathan Bogues. Reaches back and makes the play, and the Knights are out across midfield. They'll spot him at the Stags 49.
Really nice throw by Lott. You talk about stepping into a throw. This is a baseball commit going to the Citadel.
And he's working against a defense that looks like this. Also brought to you by Chevy Silverado. Keep in mind, Gary Stevens is no longer in there. He took an injury back late in the 1st quarter, and we have not seen Stevens back out there.
Looking down the bench. Don't see him there either. I know as soon as he came off, they were looking at him, looking at his head a little bit, checking his eyes.
Seemingly in that concussion protocol. Stratford needs to get down inside of the Stags 40 to move the sticks here with 2 minutes to go. They let that line come crashing in, and in front of Myers, the completion is good again to Bogues. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
I think that's one aspect of Stratford's game today that has let them down a little bit. Snaps back to the quarterback. One resulted in a turnover in the 1st quarter. 1st down here, loss of yards. That one was a bit high.
Plenty of Stratford and Citadel ties. Lots of good Stratford guys, players have come out of here and gone on to success at the Citadel. That's Jenkins Williams, the senior defensive end, who gets his hands on that to bring up 4th down. Of course, Fred Jordan from Stratford, Dave Beckley. A lot of solid players came out of here as well.
Oof. This is why Blake doesn't play wide receiver. I like him at defensive end, though. Really nice play. Because that had some yardage written on it.
Nice kick here from the lefty, J.J. Harper. And he gets the roll.
And you got a late flag behind the play. About 40 yards behind the play.
Well, if it stands, this punt is down at the 7. As we get a shot at our Zaxby's fans cam. Keep in mind, we are nearing the Zaxby's halftime show. I'm going to tease one part of the show right now. There are scores from around the Low Country coming up.
I'm collecting them.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna steal your thunder for a minute.
Yeah.
Cane Bay is leading Goose Creek 16-0 at the half. This is Goose Creek's opening game of the year, I believe. It is. Stratford and Goose Creek were the only two in the region that did not play in week 1. This is week 2. If I say it enough, will it take hold?
It can.
Do I have the clout?
You definitely have the clout.
Okay.
You definitely have the clout. The other score that I'm interested in tonight is the Oceanside score. They're up 34-0 on Academic Magnet. This is a team that has not won, didn't win all last year. They bring in a new coach from up in the Charlotte area who coached at a very strong private school.
Was he Davidson's coach? Because the quarterback came down from there, correct?
I don't believe they were coach and player.
Okay.
Sam Hartman transfers down here.
They
Same
were.
team.
Yes.
Yep. That the man behind the curtain says yes.
The Wizard of Shelton.
Yeah.
So he's a Wake Forest commit, Oceanside's quarterback.
Yep.
Oof. Wicks had a good opening that closed
Didn't you saw that too?
pretty rapidly.
Looking right down on it from where we're sitting, there was a huge gap. A seam opened up and then it closed almost as quickly. So yeah, Sam Hartman's thrown for 230, 4 touchdowns in the first half. But yeah, Wake Forest guy. Heading up there to join Kevin Higgins, former Citadel head coach, now the wide receivers coach at Wake Forest. You're missing probably the best Stratford-Citadel connection.
I'm missing the best Stratford and Citadel connection.
Yep.
And I should probably know, right? Because
Maybe.
I spent enough time doing Citadel games.
Maybe. It may have been before your time.
Uh,
Flag from...
Geddes Glaze? Was he a Stratford guy?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we're going to think about that, and so can you at home, because Josh Rogers is going to talk to you for a little bit.
All right, guys. Well, I'm joined here by Dan Davidson, assistant principal here at Stratford High School. You guys are hosting Berkeley opening night, first game of the season. Tell me a little bit about the atmosphere. You guys have a good turnout here.
It's a great time of year. Got a fresh start of the school year. We got great kids, great football players. The faculty and staff is good, is great, and just happy to start that football season also.
And you're happy to have football back, yeah?
Oh, yes. High school, college. Yes, it's a good time of year.
Awesome. Well, it is a good time of year. It's the start of the school year, and we are going to present you guys with this $500 grant for hosting us here on FNR. Why don't you give the camera a nice look and a smile? There we go, guys. $500 for Stratford High School here for hosting us tonight on Friday Night Rivals. Guys, back to you in the booth.
All right, Josh, that's part of the David Ayler Law Office's Educator Spotlight every week. My TV Charleston, ABC News 4, proud to present each participating homeschool a check for $500. So Stratford now has theirs. It's huge. Can you go cash that big one? Anyway, the grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Congratulations from My TV Charleston, ABC News 4, Friday Night Rivals. All right, so Citadel-Stratford connection. Give me a sport.
Football and baseball. Probably the best quarterback that Ray Stackley had here.
That Ray Stackley had here.
Yeah.
It wasn't Jack Douglas.
No. He was a Columbia guy, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Because
Yeah.
that's where his son played, and now his son's up at Dartmouth.
I will tell you that this player never played football at the Citadel, but did play baseball at the Citadel.
Okay. Sonny Meade.
No. I think he went to Middleton.
The answer there. I think Sonny was a Stratford guy. Kyle.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He
His dad,
and
Sam,
Kyle Jordan, yeah.
His
they were
dad
teammates.
played at, his dad coached, Sammy coached at Middleton, basketball.
Matt Wieters went to Georgia Tech, so not him.
No.
Justin Smoke
No,
went to South Carolina, so not him.
No.
Am I close? Am I in the age range?
I don't know. Yeah, probably pretty close. Ready?
Yes.
Mike Darnell.
Yeah, all right.
Now,
He was
the
just
catch here.
before my time as the Citadel radio guy.
Right. So Darnell plays quarterback here. Stackley loves him. Plays baseball for Freddie. Is one of the best catchers in the state. Goes to Georgia Southern. I believe has an injury, and then transfers to the Citadel. And if I messed it up, I'm waiting for my phone to ding.
There are enough people who know. And then he became a very successful high school coach.
Yeah, very, very good high school coach.
Look at this. Late in the half, it's Wicks pinballing his way around before he's eventually spun down by Trey Morrison.
Yeah, the last thing Stratford wants to do here is to give up a late touchdown. They'd like to keep this a 15-point game.
Got a flag as well.
Where?
Oh, in the mass of Berkeley
there
guys
it
right
is.
there. Dean, we're going to crunch some numbers.
Let's do.
Yep, they're brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. And we're going to crunch these numbers right now. 21-6. There have been a couple of turnovers on each side. And obviously, if you've got 21 points, you probably have 3 touchdowns. That is what they have. 2 short touchdown runs from Tuttle and a 87-yard kickoff return from Cam Myers. Those are their 3 touchdowns for the Stags. For the Knights, it was a long touchdown run for Mario Anderson, but Anderson may have 2 or 3 touches since.
All right, we're missing one more. My phone did ding.
Another Stratford Citadel connection.
My favorite jack of all trades has let me know that there was another Citadel Stratford connection.
Okay, so we're going to hold the thought so that we can play the game to see how poorly my brain is functioning. We can do that when we come back with our Zaxby's halftime show. You just saw all the numbers brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. It's 21-6 at the half. We go down to Josh Rogers, who is with Coach Robinson.
Coach, we saw 3 big plays really define this game in the first quarter. Tell me, it's a soggy field, it's a wet field. Has that changed the way you've coached this game and approached this game?
No, the field's holding up really well. I know it's wet, but that's okay. I'm just happy to see us play a little bit better this week.
Yeah, you guys struggled to put the ball in the end zone last week. You come out, you put up 21 points in the first half here. How does that help your team's confidence?
Yeah, it was kind of a battle there early on. We down here and missed a field goal and really should have had a touchdown out of the drive, but overall we're playing much better.
All right, Coach, I'll let you get back to your team. All right, guys, 21-6 here at half. You heard it from Coach Robinson. Good to put points on the board in the first half after that 17-10 loss to Daniel last week. Back to you in the booth.
Flipping the script a little bit, it was a kick return for a touchdown against them that tied the score at 7 last week. They never could regain the momentum here today. It was their kickoff return that gave them a 7-6 lead and carried the momentum into the half. 21-6, our Zaxby's halftime show. You don't want to miss it. It's never.
Devontae Fuller won a state championship in the 400 meters. And Aaliyah DeVoe, she won a state championship in the shot put. All right, guys, we're going to count you down. When we get to 1, go ahead, open your rings. Fans, please cheer these champions on in 3, 2, 1. Open your rings.
Oh, hot mics on the internet, I believe. Oh.
Congratulations once again to Cameron, Devontae, and Aaliyah for winning state championships in track and field.
He's got it covered. All right, so we've got 8, we've got 23.
All right, now I would like to divert your attention to the 30-yard line. Tonight, Javon Walker will be attempting the Kia kick. So from the 30, it's a 40-yard field goal, and if he makes this, he will win $1,000. If he does not make this, he will attempt a shorter kick for $100. Everybody, let's cheer on Javon Walker as he attempts our Kia kick.
I told you didn't want to miss it. It's the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit us Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. And I can tell you firsthand, nobody likes chicken fingers more than Grayson Goldwater, the 4-year-old spunky daughter of mine and Ryan Nelson Goldwater. She loves herself some Zaxby's. How you doing, G? Sleep well. All right.
Yeah, and clean your room.
Yes. By all means, please do clean your room. Each week, Zaxby's gives you a chance to win some free food. So, Grayson, grab that phone from Mom. Text chicken to 44332, and you can win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. Text chicken to 44332. It'll be your chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. Each week, David Eller Law Office is proud to highlight scholar athletes from each participating school. Students selected have the opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Tonight's scholar athletes are right there. Caitlin Mary Syverston, a 4.0 GPA. She's been a captain of the soccer team for a while. And Robbie Fleming from Berkeley, GPA of 4.5. He's a 3-sport athlete. Does a lot of work on the side as well. So congratulations to the two of them. Our David Ayler Law Office's Scholar Athletes of the Week. They're both eligible for the $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. As we continue with the Zaxby's halftime show, I'm sure we'll find a way to put together more Stratford and Citadel connections. We're also going to give you our cheer of the night, your chance to be interactive with us, and so much more. Scores from around the Low Country. Stick with us. First, we're going to hear from David Ayler.
All right, thanks, guys. Here with David Ayler, making you look bad with this suit. Very nicely dressed today. Well, you're welcome. So first of all, tell me a little bit about you. Why are you invested in local high school sports?
Well, I think local high school sports is really a starting point for a lot of individuals, really sort of making their true character. You go through so much with all the rules and the self-discipline, the healthy eating, all these habits that go way beyond high school into your adulthood. So it's a really good starting point, and we're just happy to be involved.
Now you are very involved. Talk about the scholarship itself.
We've got a great scholarship. So each week, both teams be able to present one person as a representative from their high school. And then once the season is ended, we look at all of them for several different factors, what they do in school, what they do out of school, and we choose a scholarship winner.
Now, for you, had you been in this point, would you have been eligible for the scholarship? Were you an athlete in high school?
I was not an athlete in high school.
Okay.
I tried to be one starting out in high school and quickly transitioned from baseball. Couldn't get to first base fast enough into music. So I would have been one in the crowd watching the game.
Yeah, probably me too. I called myself an athlete just because I played sports, but wasn't a whole lot of PT anyway.
Right, exactly.
So probably kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, David Ayler, we appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, so that's the latest from here.
It's the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. It is a 21-6 lead at the half of the Stags. That trophy, each and every week, provided by All-American Awards in Mount Pleasant. They've been in business for over 20 years. They're your source for corporate and sports awards. Remember, All-American Awards when you recognize excellence, like the Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealer broadcasts, when you recognize excellence. And the band was playing. They were giving the fans quite a treat, and right when it was their turn to come on, it's time to go.
So quick.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. Live television, folks.
There's 6 minutes left in the half. We could get at least Freebird in.
Yeah, yes. Let's challenge them to Freebird. I think they could pull it off. The Zaxby's halftime show will continue with the cheer contest from here at Stratford.
Oh, no.
Oh, this. We have this one again. This isn't the same one, is it?
No.
No, definitely not.
No, but this is from Chattanooga.
Yeah.
You got to contain the corner.
This is last week, 8-18.
Yeah.
So we have opening week highlights from Friday Night Rivals here.
In Tennessee, is it week 0 as well? Asheville. Oh my goodness. I think that was the kicker.
Wait. And then he just ends up in the end zone?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, nice catch. Ooh, look, old
like
school
the
Patriots.
helmets.
Look at this.
Steve Grogan.
Oh, we need these uniforms
from
in the Low
Nashville.
Country.
Let's go up to Greenville.
I'm going to assume that's
one shoe on, one shoe off.
Ridgeview and Sumter. My buddy Wes Crow produced this game. Stat Boy, old original Stat Boy, Wes Crow. Yeah, he produced this one.
That's a pretty good fake punt right there.
Uh-huh.
Milwaukee. No snow on the ground.
Yet.
It's coming.
It definitely is coming. So this is now twice we have had a highlight package without seeing the Charleston Friday Night Rivals.
Yeah. That's Emmy award-winning ad-lib.
All right, players are going to just have to do better, I guess. We're going to need them to give us some love. Halftime continues, 21-6 Berkeley. It's the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with favorites like chicken fingers, platter, or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find that location near you. Here's the Spirit Award. Get interactive with us. Text number is 44332. If you like the home team, Stratford, text cheer A. If you like the visitors, Berkeley, text cheer B. See how that works out? Here they are. All right, simple instructions. For Stratford, text cheer A. For Berkeley, text cheer B to the same place. 44332. 21-6 is our halftime score. Stratford was on the board first. A long touchdown run from Mario Anderson, who broke away from the pack and then created more distance for himself. The ensuing kickoff was taken back to the house, so the lead for the Knights lasted all of about 10 seconds because Stratford came back, took the kickoff in for a touchdown, and then hit the extra point. So it was 7-6. A couple of short touchdown runs from their quarterback, Eric Tuttle, and that is where we stand right now, 21-6. The Stags lead. All right, scores from around the Low Country right now. Fort Dorchester was postponed, and that kind of created some panic that every other game around the area would be postponed as well.
Yeah,
but they weren't, thankfully, so we're on the air. Cane Bay has the lead on Goose Creek.
Yeah, 16-0. Bishop England has cut it to close as 28-14 right now. That is in the second. Ashley Ridge and Boiling Springs halftime score is 7-7.
So Joe Marion's brother, Bobby,
yep,
he's the head coach at West Ashley. He's got the 21-7 lead. His brother Joe on the back end of a very similar score. We remind you, if you're watching right now on My TV Charleston, that's great, thank you. You can also, whether you're in the area or, I don't know, in California if you want, you can watch on the Channel 4 ABC News 4 Twitter feed. You can watch on the ABC News 4 Facebook feed. You can also watch on abcnews4.com. And if you're doing so, please tweet, post on Facebook, and use the hashtag Friday Night Rivals, all one long word, CHS. Friday Night Rivals, CHS. Throw that hashtag up there and watch us. And you can get replays fairly immediately if you navigate your way through the Facebook feed, if you go back on after the game.
Yep, and then I think tomorrow the full game will be up on our website, which we didn't have that luxury a year ago, so changing with the technological times.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, you ready? While we're getting ready for the, how much time we have here?
Well, we're
2:14.
Potentially waiting to hear from Joe Marion, whether or not he is aware of that or not. It looks like Josh Rogers has tracked him down. We've got about a good minute before they make this walk. So we're talking Stratford Citadel connections, and you have another.
Now, I said that Darnell was, one of Stackley's favorite running backs. I think quarterback. I think one of Coach Stackley's favorite players of all time who played at the Citadel and played here.
His son Josh?
His son Josh.
Yeah, that might be his.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Josh could hit some bombs. I was the radio voice of the baseball team when Josh was playing.
Yep.
He could hit.
Yep. So yes, I got a text from my son that said, "I can't believe you forgot Josh." And then my wife texted and said, "I can't believe you forgot Josh." And then the best part of it was Josh's mother texted me.
Love the feedback we get. How about the feedback from Joe Marion? He's with Josh.
Hey guys, joined by Coach Marion. Coach, you guys get a big play early in the first quarter. You kind of lose some of that momentum. How do you regain it here at the start of the second half?
Well, we just got to come out and play hard and get the offense back out on the field and try to get a score in and get this thing close again. We're playing pretty good. We had a special teams breakdown, and I think we've been penalized a ton, and we just got to quit making mistakes.
Speaking of mistakes, it's a wet field, it's a wet night, it's a wet ball. Has that changed your game plan at all?
No, not really. We've just been trying to keep a dry ball on the field and stick with it. Once a couple of plays it's wet, and we got to just keep running balls out there. So.
All right, thanks, Coach. I'll let you get back to your team. All right, guys, there you go. You hear the game plan. Stick to it. Hope they can get some of that momentum back from that huge run here in the first quarter. Send it back to the booth.
Coming up, start of the second half. Stratford in their opening game of the year. Berkeley trying to even its record at 1 up and 1 down. there's one turnover for each team. Otherwise, that's correct.
Your Knights enter back to field to start the second half. Stratford will be kicking off down 21-6.
Let's crunch some numbers, why don't we? Brought to you by Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything, and you can trust us. This is right. 21-6 is the score. Each team has turned it over. Stratford did so on their third play. Berkeley threw a pick, and we got 3 touchdowns to 1. That's the Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union crunching the numbers. Berkeley, with all of the momentum, will also start the second half potentially with the ball, but Stratford fell on it. How about that? The high kick just goes dead at the 25, and Stratford recovers it. What a way to start the second half. Sean Pringle's got it.
It just sat there forever. Nobody really made a move on the from the white jerseys. Joe Marion said he wanted to get the ball and do something with it. Well, he gets the ball in great field position at the 35 of Berkeley.
You want to change momentum? That's a good way to do it. Start the second half.
You know what the Stevens family plan is here after a turnover? Go right for the end zone.
I knew that. I knew it. I've worked with you long enough. No time off the clock here to begin this second half. Up the middle, plugging away. That's Mario Anderson who spins forward, maybe even got a couple of yards.
We don't subscribe to the 2 yards in a cloud of mud theory after the turnover.
All right, text Subway to 44332. 44332, a chance to win a lot of money towards Subway. I believe $500. I'm trying to find that exact card there. But yeah, I think it's $500. I'm right. You're going to be notified on October 30th if you can win. Simple. Text Subway 44332. One winner notified on October 30th.
Really nice play action. Robinson keeps the ball, pitches it out to Jackson, who then has his face mask, headgear, head, neck, Adam's apple, and ears pulled off.
All of them.
One big whole cranium pull.
Rocky Huggins tells you about it. Here's another look at it. Wow.
I didn't lie, did I?
No. No.
When his feet went flying up in front of his body, I knew there was a problem.
Now the ball is spotted just outside the 10. This is not first and goal. It is first and 10. No matter. It's a touchdown anyway. Mario Anderson needs to get the ball a lot more. And I think Joe Marion would echo that sentiment. A Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. Get back out there, Mario Anderson. You got to be in on this play.
Well, what I say at the outset of this game, and you were smart enough to say, hey, this is a guy we need to profile. You like his shoulders. I like his legs and his speed. But he's Super Mario, and he's got some guys behind him as well.
Now they're going to go for 2 here after their extra point on their first touchdown was blocked. You saw Anderson getting set to celebrate on the sideline. He was spun around and thrown back onto the field. Motion man was Brown, but they're going to back up here. You wonder if this doesn't change their thinking.
So false start against Stratford. We'll try the point after again.
So 51 seconds in, they are back on the board and back within 1 score. Well, if they kick the extra point, it would be 1 score, or if they get this 2-point conversion, it would also be 1 score.
You've got to Stratford player limping off. That's going to be, the ball's going to be snapped.
And fumbled and down. That play never really had a shot.
I'm a little surprised after the false start and they back him up 5. You don't have the throwing quarterback in.
All right, let's hear from Micah Ponce, Berkeley Electric Cooperative.
All right, guys, thank you. Joined by Micah Ponce with Berkeley Electric Cooperative. Micah, run me through, how is Berkeley different from a regular electric utility company?
We're actually getting that question a lot these days, especially with everything that's going on in the state in terms of electricity. But one of the main things that's different about a co-op is that, first of all, we're not for profit. So that means our main focus is going to be keeping rates affordable for our members. And then our members are actually owners of the cooperative. So they have a direct input into how the co-ops run. And since we're locally owned, one of the big things is we like to be involved in the community. One of the reasons why we're out here enjoying Friday night rivals, football, and glad to be a sponsor.
And with you guys as such a customer-oriented utility company, how do your customers save money? What do they do to save money?
Well, one of the big things that we're doing right now is something that's called Beat the Peak. We're asking our members to go to, what's the name of that website? EnergySmartSC.org. And we're asking them to go sign up for Beat the Peak alerts. And what happens is when demand for electricity is really high, the price goes up too. So we're going to send out alerts to our members so they know when they need to use a little bit of electricity, and that's going to help everybody save money in the long run.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. And Dean, Darren, back to you in the booth and back to the action.
A lot of energy here now on this field and back into the Stratford side after getting that onside kick and recovering the onside at the 25, and eventually the touchdown run from Anderson. So this will be the first possession of the second half for the Stags, who, you think the extra point is a mindless point, maybe 2 points, but the Knights have now missed it twice. And instead of a one-possession game, it's a two-possession game.
And that's why when they had the offsides, I thought they would kick the extra point there to keep it within a one-possession game. Now you need 2. And they've got to get Berkeley off the field here.
Navery turned around as the ball got to him, and also had Malachi Bell bearing down on it. It'll be second down.
Berkeley's run that play multiple times tonight. By the way, Rodney Hancock, a former Stratford baseball player, turned out to be one of the better Citadel pitchers of all time.
Ever. Yeah, I didn't know Rodney was a Stratford guy.
And I'm not done. Can I keep going?
The thing about Stratford and the Low Country, there are athletes, tons of them, and there are lots of connections between the Stratford and the Citadel.
Travis Lott's father, Ken Lott.
Also to the Citadel?
Football player here, played baseball at the Citadel.
All right.
I think I'm done now.
You think until you get another text.
I'll tell you what, we did just fill out a baseball team, though, didn't we?
We did. Brandon Simmons could fill out a lot of that defensive line. The junior, who's come on strong here towards the end of the fall practices, he's in to make that stop, so it'll be 3rd down and 10.
I think when Joe Marion goes back and looks at this tape up to this point, and he said it, at halftime to our sideline reporter.
Here's Tuttle. Is he across the line of scrimmage? That was clearly what was in his head. So Zach Leamer takes him down with the hesitation from Eric Tuttle, and the punt team comes out.
A couple mistakes here and there, and this game is a bit closer. Now they come out and go back to one of my recipes for success, playing clean and mean. They can play a clean second half of football and really put the pressure on the Berkeley offense.
Other than the missed 2-point conversion, this has been a perfect start to the second half. You recover the kick, take it in for the touchdown, then you get a quick 3-and-out for the Stags. This one bounds its way out inside of the 40-yard line.
Because when you take a look at their schedule, and you mentioned playing in that region, in Region 7 5A, playing Cane Bay next week is going to be tough. Cane Bay is very, very good. Then you've got a Georgetown team that you could beat. You got a James Island Wando. You get into all of a sudden to your region play. Wando struggling tonight against Conway. James Island, I believe, lost last week. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you've got Fort Dorchester, Ashley Ridge, West Ashley, and Somerville. That's a tough 4-game stretch.
You better wake up before that stretch. Here's Ken Lott's son, Travis. A deep out, perfectly thrown, and right through the hands. I believe that was Sincere Brown.
That is not clean, and that makes Joe Marion mean.
I see what you did there. It's our Zaxby's fans cam. Still some positivity in there with the sense that Stratford is back into this thing, as they are quickly getting on the board in the early stage of the second half.
I got one more.
Of course you do.
Well, this one was texted to me by the Stackley family architect, the CEO.
That's not Ray, I would imagine. Nice cutback here from Mario Anderson. Spins his way off the initial hit there of Marion McGill, but still loses yards.
So that's a nice play inside. Was that 73? Is that Blake Jenkins Williams? Got a hand in there, brought him down. Anthony Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know he played here. David Shelton, did you know Anthony Jenkins played here?
David, you could have participated in this and helped us out a little bit, not just relying on the texters.
Quarterback in football.
Yeah, and Jenkins was the key cog in the College World Series run. Here's Sincere Brown now, and Brown is wrestled down by a quartet of Stags.
I believe it was Anthony Jenkins who slid home to beat Miami.
Correct.
It's all coming back.
All right, we've got our educator spotlight. And in order to have that happen, Josh Rogers takes control.
Yes, thank you guys. Joined by Steven Steele, principal of Berkeley High School. You guys are back, coming off a loss the first week, but here you got a lead early on. Just walk me through what it's like to have football back this season.
Well, right now the game's a little bit tighter than what we want it to be, but tight games make it more interesting for everybody out here. Right now it's good to be back. Right now, since we started the school year back, we've had 150 kids enroll since July 19th at Berkeley High School. So we're growing. We're over 1,700 this year. We had a busy summer, obviously, with that many kids coming in, and our kids were competing across the nation in national championships. Beta Club competed in national championship in Orlando, Florida. Bass Team competed for a national championship in Alabama, and FBLA competed for championship, and also did our health science program competed for championships also. So been a busy summer all summer.
Sounds like it, and you guys got success in the classroom and some success on the field here. We'll send it back to you guys in the booth, see if Berkeley can pull this one out.
That's your David Ayler Law Office's Educator Spotlight.
I want to be part of the Bass Club. I think you just go catch fish.
That'd be awesome. Ooh, look at that jump through the line.
Better
Wicks then
catch
with
him.
the cutback. Wicks is off to the races and pulling away inside the 15. Touchdown for Wicks. 80 yards. Keyshawn Wicks.
Well, watch the cutback. You mentioned it right here. Nice move. Great block by 32. And then Wicks is off. Our third touchdown, 80-plus yards. We talked about last week against Daniel, the big play coming from the quarterback and the wide receivers. But Wicks that time put an 80-yard run on him. And, boy, you go back to that drop pass that would have extended Stratford's drive.
Instead, it's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown coming back the other way. So big plays are a theme of the first 2 weeks of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. With that in mind, folks in the corporate office, maybe we can have one of those highlights next week. Yeah, calling out the corporate office, always a good idea.
Yeah.
28-12
Nice seeing you.
is Berkeley's lead. We'll see you here back after this break.
On the sidelines tonight in training rooms throughout the
Really? Okay. Huh. But Freddie didn't coach football too, did he? Really? I didn't know that. I knew he loved it. I didn't know he was a football coach.
Drafted by the Cardinals. Few do. Who?
Who's that?
So did Britt Reams.
Britt was a shortstop here?
No, Cardinals.
Oh, yeah, but he made it. Yeah. Where's Britt? Did he get with another staff? Yeah. Big plays, the theme of Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers, and that's what you should have. I mean, if you're driven by Low Country Chevy dealers,
right,
you should have. Well, we're not having long drives, but we're having long plays.
There is a Chevy truck down in the end zone behind the fence that had an opportunity to drive today.
Nice, huh?
Yeah. There we go.
You're going to accidentally take that one home?
I am going to take it home.
All right, Anderson sizes this one up, takes it just inside the 10, isn't even hit until he crosses the 20, and we'll give him about a 22-yard return there out to the 30.
Love the burst of speed. But I keep telling our general manager, Mary Margaret, that I don't, as much as I love the big red truck,
yes,
the small red Corvette would really be awesome. And when you get a track meet like this, it's more of a Corvette game than it is a Chevy truck game.
That's true. But see, that's the great thing about the Chevy. You can go with the truck, like a Silverado. You can go with the Mustang. You can go with the Corvette.
Yeah.
You got options.
Yeah. I'm going Corvette.
You're a vet type of guy? Yellow? I mean, are you a flashy vet type of guy? Nothing
Ball's
flashy about this. Yeah, right up through the middle. That was in the hands of Williams and right out of the hands of Williams. No signal given yet by the officials, although every Stag is pretty confident here. Official down. Stags have the football. Recovered by DeMontre Singleton, just a sophomore in the back line of that defense. And the safety gives the Stags good field position here.
DeMontre with 6 tackles from his cornerback position last week, so an active guy in the back. You'll see here, this number 47 punches it out.
Xavier Watson.
You know what I'm doing here?
Yeah, it's the Stevens family, line.
I'm going DJ Chisholm outside deep.
Oh, well, Chisholm wanted on the screen. He was the bluff. They go Wyndham deep, but that's read by the deep safety and picked off. It's Justin Eaton who carries it back to the 40.
I don't believe the wide receiver ever saw that ball. And that ball was thrown, and again, he never turned around. I don't think he knew right towards the very end, but at that point, too late.
Yeah, you can see it pretty clearly here. Well, he sort of saw it. It was underthrown, and Eaton then slid underneath. So what a break now for the Knights. They fumble it away, give the Stags field position at their 36, and on the next play, they gain 4 yards and have the ball back at their 40. It's as though neither team wants to really grab a hold and firm control. Lott runs the option. The pitch is high. Some big contact as the ball scuttles its way across there at the 40, and it's recovered by the Stags. It's Caldwell who falls on this one.
Which is, and again, you've got the passing quarterback playing the pitch option, and that was Chisholm laying the pads on Jenkins. Nope, it was number 30. I'm sorry. My goodness. Which is rarer, the back-to-back-to-back jacks or the back-to-back-to-back turnover?
Turnover. I mean, that's pretty rare. 3 straight plays. You're just giving the ball back to the other guy. Here's Chisholm now. Wyndham sets the block, but lost his footing, and now it's Polite who jumps on his back.
Out. A back-to-back-to-back.
To back. Yeah, you need one there on the back end of the back-to-back-to-back. Polite knocks it away from Chisholm here. Yeah, that's polite. Hanging on for dear life. Comes down, just yanks it away.
Wow.
So who wants to win?
Well, what a great play by Polite to fight off his block, and then just to get a hand to slow Chisholm down and let the rest of the Knights kind of get in on the action. All right, what are the odds? What are the odds?
This is our 9th possession of the third quarter. It's not even 5 minutes old. That happens when 4 straight plays are turnovers. So Robinson's back into the game. He'll hand one off here to Jackson. He was the one who couldn't handle the pitch on the fumble before. Check it, that was Mario Anderson. All right, back to back, starting with the first back.
Yep, you go through that line of scrimmage, you've got to have 2 hands on the ball. And then this one just tossed up for grabs. And then a tough pitch here by Lott, a little too high for Jackson. And then you really got to credit Polite here, working around his block and then to keep a hand on it. Yep, and then the strip.
He just went for a ride, jumped on Chisholm's back and said, all right, when you drop me off, I'm taking the ball with me. 5 yards on first down for Mario Anderson, who's to the right of Robinson. Nice awareness for Robinson. Gets away from the sophomore backer, directs some traffic, and man, does he take a hit. I believe he got the first down there on the far side, but he paid the price.
Well,
That's right in front of Denny McDaniel there.
This is the quickest way to gain respect of your teammates. I love how he starts to direct traffic with his left hand. He's got the ball to the outside. And then the big pop.
Yeah, Trey Morrison got him. They spotted him at the 30, so he's a yard short. 3rd down and a yard.
Big 3rd down play.
Hey, they've already accomplished something. They've run 2 plays without turning the ball over.
Stop it.
Berkeley rushes 4. Anderson splits right through them and picks up the first down, and then gets a couple extra yards as he falls forward in the grasp of Hunter Hicks, the Bandit linebacker.
I'm not Denny McDaniel. I can't grow a beard quite like Denny McDaniel, but if I am Denny McDaniel, I'm giving the ball to 27 until he says, I need a break. And nothing against the other running backs, but he has been the most explosive and the most powerful guy back there tonight.
They're going to get a look at the way Berkeley's lining up and adjust. I'm not sure what the
conversation's about.
Right, Rocky Huggins is wanting some confirmation here, and all right, they're all squared away and ready to go.
Doesn't look like it was a clock issue. Play clock is rolling.
Once again, it's Anderson to the big arms of Jalen Thompson. You think that guy's got a future? He's only a sophomore, and
yes,
he has been pretty impactful in the middle of that line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still no Gary Stevens out there for the Stags. Stevens was at the bottom of a pile and actually was sandwiched a bit by Jaden Miller, his teammate, at the end of the first quarter. Stevens was down for quite some time and eventually was able to get up and walk off under his own power, but he has not yet been seen on the field again. It's a big loss for the Stags. Nothing fancy here. The game plan for the Knights, Dean, is right out of your playbook here. Anderson, and a little bit more of Walter Williams, who has that carry to bring up 3rd down and 5.
They're going to go no huddle, just set up on the line. Brown, number 80, has been able to get some separation in this game.
They need 5. Robinson double clutches, and it's intercepted. What a read. That's Cam Myers, who already has a kick return for a touchdown today, and now he's got a pick 6 as well. Cam Myers reads it right out of the arms of Ryan Robinson.
A flag down at the 45.
If it stands, it's a Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. We do have a flag down.
He double clutched, pump faked a little bit, and then threw it, and I think that kind of gave Myers a jump. Berkeley is signaling touchdown.
Penalty was against Stratford on the return. It's declined, and Cam Myers, have a day, son. All you need now is an offensive touchdown. You've got the 87-yard kick return. We've got this interception return for a touchdown. David Shelton, how far was that? It was a 50-yard interception return for a touchdown. So without touching it offensively, he's got 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. Does Cam Myers.
Also, his wide receiver fell down, but again, he had that kind of pump fake the first time and then floated it out. And if you're going to throw it out on the flats like that, and that ball's got to be put on a line. But that is the 5th straight possession with a turnover.
Yes. So what Joe Marion was harping on, play clean. Neither team has been particularly clean here in this third quarter, but it is Berkeley that's able to take advantage of the most recent turnover. And they didn't really have to do much with it after Cam Myers jumped the route and took it back 50 yards for his 2nd touchdown of the day. A Berkeley team that had to adjust under Randy Robinson there in the gray Berkeley hat. Robinson comes down from Daniel after a hugely successful stint up there, but his career actually started as a teacher at Berkeley Middle School.
That's right.
So we come back to an area that is somewhat home, wanting to restore the glory of the Berkeley tradition. Immediately wins the region last year, but the adjustment for the players, this isn't a guy like Jeff Cruz or the predecessor, Jerry Brown. Tough love is really what Randy Robinson has been talking about, and how his guys had to get used to understanding that it is tough love. It's not being overly critical. It's not coming down too hard. It's being hard on you because I love you. And last year it was Darius Douglas who really bought in.
Yep.
The teammates saw that from their leader. They followed suit. And as Randy Robinson says, this year has been completely different from last year. Kids knew what to expect when they showed up for their spring practices, their 7-on-7s. Thought they should have won last week. They outgained Daniel by a good amount, but couldn't get that momentum, got off to a slow start. A little bit different story here today. And it is interesting that the momentum came back to the Stag side the same way they lost it against Daniel last week. Kick return for a touchdown against them. And today it was a kick return for a touchdown for them and Cam Myers.
Oh my gosh. Now they're flooding my Twitter account. Another one.
With Stratford and Citadel connections. They're
yes.
all, I'm telling you, they're all over.
And I had forgotten about this one because he was a really good pitcher, Brian Callahan.
That was a little bit before me.
Citadel pitcher, 93 to 96, Stratford graduate.
Okay.
Thank you, Holly, for sending that in.
Kyle Jordan, 4-year starter under Fred.
Kyle Jordan.
At short. You know what I'll remember about Kyle? The best year Freddie ever had. I believe it was 43 wins when Asher Wojciechowski was pitching at the Citadel. He's now in the starting rotation for the Reds.
Yep.
Matt Talley was there as well. That was a loaded team. Chris McGinnis was there. Richard Jones. There's an unbelievable team. Kyle hit a go-ahead home run against South Carolina in the second game of the regional that gave Citadel fans the reason to believe, with Wojciechowski on the hill, they could win that game. But they called a balk on Wojo, I believe in the 7th, when his pitch count was already up there. I mean, they were riding their horse. And he unraveled after that. South Carolina won the game. It was a heck of a season. Won the Southern Conference wire to wire. Won the tournament without losing a game, SoCon tournament. That was a fun year for me as a broadcaster, I can tell you that.
Travis Lott with a nice pass across the middle, drop.
Now he's backpedaling. That one's high and off the hands of Akil Wright.
There have been about 5 or 6 drop balls by the Stratford receiving corps. And when you're trying to come back and you're down 23, you've got to be able to make a play, bust one out and get a quick 6, 7, or 8. And we got offense, false start on the slot man. I'm just very appreciative of people watching the broadcast and throwing in their 2 cents.
You know, a good football player here, back in his day, he says he should have been in the Stratford Hall of Fame, Chris Hoff. He reminds me as well of Sonny Mead, but I pointed that out. So he may have been a good football player, Chris, but not a good listener.
Right.
I did mention Sonny. He played a little bit of outfield, pitched a little bit. Flag in here, and lots going down.
Well, when you talk all-time great Stratford special teams player, you're talking Chris Hoff.
Yeah. Kicker?
No, I think he was the guy that like stood next to the ball on kickoff and like had his hand up in the air.
Yeah.
And then when he dropped his hand, everybody ran and the kicker kicked the ball.
Sometimes
and then
you get the finger on the ball in the windy days.
Yep. And then the coaches would just say, "Don't go down and make a catch. We'll just grab the tee. We'll go 10 on 11."
Yeah, we joke. Now Chris Hoff is the director of all, I don't know his exact title, all of the events out at Patriots Point.
I think he actually captained the Yorktown one time.
all of the coverage, locally and nationally, that you saw from the Yorktown was coordinated by Chris for the Eclipse.
I think he captained the boat late one night. Nobody saw the ship moving.
Be a fun story. This is a good punt from deep in his own end zone. Wyndham doesn't even want to mess with it. That thing is back at the 47.
I was going to say this before I interrupted myself a while back, but Jatavius Harper, Stratford's kicker,
is that a good day?
Just a sophomore. I like his future.
Yeah.
Because again, he's just 6 feet 150, right? Put another 30 pounds on that body.
Yeah. He's gotten him out of some jams. And he always has the right action on the ball. It always takes the forward roll.
Yep. And Chris Hoff looks exactly like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Who,
yes,
may or may not, have some.
No, it's a yes.
Downtime.
That's why Natalie married him.
Yeah, I know. He also looks like Bryce Harper now, by the way, with the hair. Oh, Wicks.
No.
Wicks already has an 80-yard run. Look at these cuts. It's like he's slicing through my gluten-free bread, which just falls apart, and gets all the way down to the 14.
Have you ever dropped a gluten-free bread or gluten bread
reference?
Yeah,
nope.
Ever?
Nope.
You know?
It's unfortunate I even know what it is. But look at this.
Yeah, that's almost a gallop. It's a skating gallop.
Wicks, his cutback ability, this is only a junior also. I mean, they've got guys, Berkeley, they've got athletes, interchangeable, similar sizes, can play the running back spot, the receiver spots. Here's Navery. Nobody touches Navery. He waltzes in. And the Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown has put Berkeley on top, 41-12.
Well, Berkeley's starting to flex its muscles up front. And that's what Randy really why they work so hard in the offseason in the weight room. And Wicks comes out of nowhere and just starts racking up the yards.
Ooh, but McMurray never got this one off the ground, so his ground ball kick is no good. 41-12 with 3 minutes to go here in the third. A quarter that has been marred by 5 different turnovers, but a quarter that has now seen Berkeley score on each of its last 2 possessions.
I got one more.
Well, not necessarily possessions, but they had the pick 6 and then that one. All right, we're continuing with our theme of Stratford to the Citadel.
J.D. Davis, freshman at the Citadel, shortstop, played football here, wide receiver, I believe. Quarterback. And quarterback, the man behind the Shelton is telling us.
I love it, the man behind the Shelton.
And, started shortstop this year for the Citadel for a large majority of the year. Colleton County, Fort Dorchester still postponed. Cane Bay up 22-0. Bishop England making it a close game against West Ashley 35-17. I'm not seeing a Wando score, and Oceanside is beating up on Academic Magnet. I saw the quarterback Hartman was taken back. Let me take a look at that.
And did Oceanside play last week? Did they win?
They did win last week as
right,
well.
so they're about to be 2-0 after going winless. They also won their game in Sertoma, and after going winless last year, Oceanside celebrated the win in Sertoma. I mean, they've got something going.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Anderson is going out of bounds, pushed that way by Chisholm.
Conway up 17-7 on Wando, 5:31 left in the game. Wando had just 36 yards of total offense in the first half, according to Twitter.
A verified source. Did it have the blue check mark? We'll say it did.
I don't know. Andrew Miller is a blue check mark. So JD, his father, Jonathan Davis, is the campus minister over at Charleston Southern. Was one of the assistant coaches. I believe Pastor John played at Catawba, if I'm not mistaken.
All right.
And then
D2 school in the Southern Atlantic Conference, the SAC.
And then he was a coach over at Charleston Southern, along with Jim Tomasula.
Oh, yeah?
Ended up being the 49ers coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Charleston Southern out to the Bay. So you're going to have to believe us if you just tuned in. Stratford had a little bit of momentum here. They went with a high, relatively short kick to begin this second half. They recovered it at the 25. Anderson, a few plays later, marched his way in for his second score of the day. It made it 21-12. And the sense was, all right, Stratford's got the momentum, but the turnover fest ensued. We had one long touchdown run from Wicks, then the turnovers. And Wicks has really bookended this third quarter outburst for the Stags. He had their 80-yard touchdown run, and he also has the most recent touchdown. 20 unanswered now for the Stags, who have grabbed this thing firmly in their control with 2.5 to go in the third.
But you're right. They had a little bit momentum starting here in the third, and then things got a little loose around turn 4.
Bouncing his way through. And he's going to pick up a couple. It'll be third down and about 5.
I don't know.
Hang on, let's crunch some numbers. Heritage Trust, Federal Credit Union, trust is everything. A lot of turnovers. Lots of turnovers. 41-12 is the end result. Berkeley at least able to capitalize on a few of those turnovers. Remember, if you're also just tuning in, no Gary Stevens right now for the Stags, injured in the first quarter. And the Stags in the trenches have taken control, really, of this waning stages of the third quarter. The offensive line allowed Navery to go in untouched. I said Wicks prior, but Wicks set up Navery for the touchdown run. And now the defensive line is, I mean, they've been pretty solid and stout most of the day.
Yep.
And that's what Randy Robinson wanted to do when he took over Berkeley. He said, I firmly believe games are won and lost in the trenches, and all 3 losses last year he felt could be attributed to being beaten in the trenches.
Berkeley's defensive line winning that matchup on the 3rd and short, forcing Stratford to punt it back with $1:11 on the clock.
Here's your guy.
By the way, here's the other thing we're missing out on this kid.
JJ. They go.
Right?
He goes by JJ.
That's fine. But he kicks it with his left foot.
Yes. That's a 54-yarder right there with the roll. Not bad.
I like it.
He's got a nice average going.
He's got a nice future going. You know, even though, I mean, we're sitting here with a minute left in the third quarter, but I think when Joe Marion takes a look at this tape and he sits back and he reflects on what's happened in this game and how quickly it turned, you know, aside from the obvious, right? You can't turn the ball over, you can't drop passes. But I don't think he's any clearer now who he would start at quarterback than he was when I talked to him at 4 o'clock today.
Some of the issue is the control that Berkeley's defensive line has had. Look at this, straight down, streaking his way was Chisholm, but Polite was right there.
Yeah, really nice play by Polite. Really, really nice play.
And we've got to give Polite a lot of credit here. I mean, we expected to see a lot out of DJ Chisholm. One time he caught it and Polite jumped on his back and forced a fumble. He's been relatively quiet. Polite's been all over him.
Mal Lawyer taking Chisholm to school on the sidelines. I think he wanted him to kind of cut back maybe a little bit, come back and get the football. 41-12. Let's go and just throw it down the field a little bit more.
They say, Coach Robinson does, that Tuttle did everything right last week. He made all the right reads, put the ball where he was supposed to put it. They've got playmakers around him, but they put a lot on his shoulders as a first-year starter. So, you know what he has shown me? He's shown me the ability to throw the deep ball today. He's got a nice, crisp arm. But he's missed a lot of guys. But he won't miss Wyndham. Without anyone within 20 yards of Wyndham, and now maybe 10 yards, Mars closes in. That one's going to go for 75 yards to Wyndham. Blown coverage, and the game's blown open.
I'm not going to see what happens on the coverage here or where Wyndham comes from, but we know where he's going. Yeah, nobody within 20 or 30 yards.
It's your Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown. Berkeley Electric has to love it when Berkeley is winning and they're getting Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdowns. Hey, you say it fast 10 times.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, you might have to next week. That one's going to hook through. 48-12. Now with 9 seconds, that is 27 unanswered points for the Stags. And those 27 unanswered have come in a span of 7 minutes and 46 seconds.
We talked at the outset about Berkeley's ability and their big play capabilities. And they're certainly showing us that today.
So Berkeley, which, as we mentioned, won the region last year, after really laboring through an extended stretch, half a decade, 25-32 over a 5-year stretch. They were 3-5 in 2015, and then they improved by 6 wins last year.
Yeah, that was a huge jump. And there was, you know, that 3-7 year from Berkeley is when, you know, Jeff Cruz, you know, adopted the philosophy of never punting. And the results didn't meet his hope or his expectation. And I think the chatter in the coffee shop got a little louder and louder. And that's when they bring Robinson in.
He's turned it around pretty quickly. Yeah, he even impressed himself how fast the thing got turned around. And when you think of Berkeley, in the grand scheme of things, you know, you think Friday Night Lights, you think these small high school towns around the country where the high school is everything. And quickly, when that is the description, you immediately think Somerville down here because of the legacy McKissick built and, and that stadium down there. In reality, Berkeley and Moncks Corner, that's a small town. Berkeley football is everything there. And players have said this year already, it's fun now. You know, last year they had a good year. They win the region. People recognize them in the grocery store. You know, see them around town, see them out at lunch and at dinner. And, you know, the football feel up in Moncks Corner in Stag Country, it's back.
Right.
And we're going to be back for the fourth quarter. It'll be second down for the Knights when we bring you back here for the fourth quarter. 27 unanswered points for the Stags there in the third quarter to blow this thing open. It is time for the fourth quarter, and it is Travis Lott time, continuing to go back and forth with these quarterbacks here for the Knights. Thanks for joining us, along with Dean Stevens and Darren Goldwater. When Stratford has had success today, it has been with Mario Anderson, but that third quarter was one that the Knights would like to forget. A lot of it the Stags would like to forget. There were 4 straight plays with turnovers, 5 consecutive possessions with turnovers. But through all of that, only the Stags started putting up points. It was 21-12 when all that started. And it's now 48-12.
Well, again, you go back to, being the first week of action for Stratford. Offensively over the last, what seems like 20 minutes, they have, for the most part, just run the ball up the middle. They've not deviated much. And, they are again looking at another fourth and 3, and they're going to punt it back again.
I'd love to see the official number from J.J. Harper. Full name, Jatavius? Talking with some of the Stratford folks before the game, they said, just call him JJ. Everyone calls him JJ. And the way he's kicked tonight, you can call him whatever he asks to be called.
I think Stratford is taking a timeout to. And I will tell you, as you guys have watched this football game, what is about to happen down in Texas is going to be
scary.
Hugo-like, Katrina-like.
This is Will Lou Gray, Never Stop Learning, stop of the game, but we've quadrupled your pleasure. It's not the Will Lou Gray, Never Stop Learning, stop of the game. It's the stops of the game. It is turnover, 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 turnover. 4 straight plays. That one's my favorite. Polite jumping on the back and then stripping it away from Chisholm.
Yep.
Back to back to back to back turnovers. And then the next possession was also a turnover, just not the next play. That's the Will Lou Gray, Never Stop Learning stops of the game. But yes, thinking of Texas, that's a scary situation that's developed.
So that storm has now intensified to a Category 4.
Really? There's another good one. Berkeley isn't even trying to field these punts from Harper. That one's going to go down to the 18.
So next week we will be at Ashley Ridge, Colleton County at Ashley Ridge, and then we followed up with a Bishop England Porter Goud game.
That's always a fun one. BE Porter Goud, 2 schools that are not especially fond of each other.
Somebody wants me to ask. On Twitter, somebody's asked me to say, could you please ask David Shelton why he's blocked me? I'm just trying to get high school football scores.
So, Dean, this is what you're talking about. Here's our upcoming schedule. We're going to go left to right and then zigzag our way down through Colleton County at Ashley Ridge. Then we're going to Porter Goud, Wando, and Fort Dorchester. Fort Dorchester team that believes that this is another year for a state championship run. And then Goose Creek and West Ashley. Goose Creek getting stung by the Cobras. You like that one? A little bit today. At last check, it was 22-0 Cane Bay.
So you've taken it to a whole new level.
Cobras don't sting, do they?
Yeah, I was about to.
They bite?
Google. Yeah, I think so. Deadly, I would think.
It would probably sting if it bit you.
Yes, it would.
So a little while ago, we were talking about Stratford players and their ties to the Citadel, and then we went way off base and started talking about Chris Hoff and how he looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
I hesitated, and you've given me the okay.
Yeah.
Last night, he was definitely here, Dale Earnhardt. He was out on Sullivan's. He was at Dunleavy's on Sullivan's. So much so that he took a picture with my buddy's dog, number 88, and Bella. Were hanging out at Dunleavy's last night. It's your Yaden Chiropractic smooth move of the game. Obviously brought to you by Yaden Chiropractic. What is our smooth move? How about it's the cuts from Wicks? I like it, guys. Good work down there in the truck. These are smooth moves. Had an 80-yard touchdown run. That was not the 80-yard touchdown, but it was the cutback run following it that set up the Navery touchdown run.
I'd like to run like that one time.
Just once.
Yeah, just once, right? This is another Stevens family conversation. Yeah, would you rather dunk a basketball?
Or backup quarterback in and a vicious block was just laid out there.
Yeah, I think they're celebrating that too. Take a look at it again.
Bobby Ruiz is the one who lays the block, I believe. 77 here coming. Bam, yeah.
Gets his helmet around. Good block, clean block. All right, hit a home run. Hole in one.
Hole in one.
Dunk a basketball.
Hole in one. Give me a trampoline. I could dunk a basketball.
Run like Wicks.
Yeah, that'd be fun. A hole in one is one of those things that I can do it again.
But not if you don't do it the first time.
I haven't done it yet. But if I run like Wicks once, I know there's no shot I'm going to do it again.
Berkeley with a rare punt. I don't believe they punted this half, have they?
No, they have not. They went with their backups in for that one as well. The quarterback there was Sincere Wilson. So two Sinceres on the field at the same time.
There was a little confrontation between a couple of backup special teams players. I love it. How do I know they're backup special teams players? Because their uniforms are absolutely perfectly manicured, clean, white.
Yes.
It's kind of like two little dogs in the neighborhood, kind of like, arf, arf. So, before I started doing news, I dabbled in sports a little bit.
You did, yes.
And we covered a lot of NASCAR. And I was lucky enough to have met Dale Sr. On more than one occasion. And to the point where he knew my name, and he knew I was from Charleston, and he absolutely loved our city. And this is back in the early 90s, early 90s.
Wow.
And, when we didn't have so many restaurants, he loved to come down and eat at a couple of restaurants downtown.
Yeah.
But he was a big fan.
Before there was traffic every day in Charleston.
Ooh, a couple nice moves.
There goes Robinson, and Robinson pulling away now.
There you go.
It's Ryan Robinson in for the touchdown.
Let's have a little run here.
All right, we're going to give him 43 yards on that touchdown run. Berkeley Electric Cooperative Touchstone Energy touchdown.
So there you see the difference in those two quarterbacks. Lott has the ability to throw the ball. Robinson's got the ability to make people miss, and he's got a little bit of speed on him too.
Something we haven't seen much of today, and this is why Robinson gives him that other angle as the quarterback. They started in some of their scrimmages to implement a little bit of option game when they went with the two-back set. The option was very concerning to Berkeley this week, but it's not something we've seen much of from Stratford at all today. That time Robinson keeps it himself, scampers into the end zone for their first score since early on in the third quarter. It's 48-19. The visiting Stags lead the Knights. He's a good dude. Oh, I don't think we were talking to you guys back in the truck.
I think it's Charles T. Onion.
Touchdown run there for Ryan Robinson in the opening game of the year for the Stratford Knights. This is game number 2 for the Stags, falling to Daniel last week. And And this is Jordan Ray, the 135-pound sophomore who's going to kick off here for the Knights.
All right, David Dangerfield, I hear you. Stag great. Kinte Palmer played at the Citadel after he played at Penn State, and Maurice Drayton also coached at the Citadel.
He did. Both of those are true. Kinte came down in the Kevin Higgins era after finishing his eligibility at Penn State.
Able to hang on to the ball after a vicious hit from Stratford's.
There you go.
I'm sure there are more Berkeley and Citadel connections as well. It can't just be those two.
The man behind the Shelton will remember this name. One of the great running backs to ever come through the Low Country was Rusty Williams. Huh?
You guys are showing your age
Went
up
over,
here.
played at Auburn, and played at Auburn.
Actually played.
Played
Yes,
at Auburn.
understood.
Yep. And who was the big? There was a big back that played while he was there at Auburn. It's kind of like a thunder and lightning deal.
Was that Titus Ivory? Or was it was obviously way before Titus Ivory.
Yep.
Sincere Wilson remains in there as the quarterback, as they've got mostly the second teamers out there for the Stags. That's Jeremiah Mack.
We haven't even touched on the Ellingtons. Bruce was really good. He was really, really good. Good quarterback. Blossomed onto the basketball scene when TMP basketball was fairly new. TMP now one of the top programs in the country. They've got 6 guys ready to go play Division I college. I think the number 6.
And they just came back from a tournament where they got some obscene amount of offers for their guys.
Really, really good. Josiah James, I think, is at Florida this weekend. He's one of their players. And of course, Ellington goes to South Carolina, plays both sports, and plays both sports pretty well.
Yeah.
And of course, Andre, his cousin, the running back here, went on to play at Clemson, played really well, and is having a nice NFL career. Bruce, interestingly enough, was cut by the 49ers about 3 weeks ago. And then the Jets sign him. And then they release him the next day because he doesn't pass his physical. And then
we saw the Zaxby's fans camp.
Yeah, I think he's in there somewhere.
Must be, because after the Jets, he didn't pass his physical. That he transports himself into the Zaxby's fans camp, and then where does he go?
Then he signs with the Texans, like the next day.
And he passed their physical.
Oh, he did pass their physical and literally played 2 days later and picked up about 120 yards through the air, joining all of the other South Carolina connections on that team.
Yes. I think Deshaun Watson and Ellington hooked up in that game.
They did. So a lot of rich tradition with these two schools, and you know, to say that when Cane Bay opened up, it was really a nail in what Stratford had created and what they had built here.
Yep. In this area, the Goose Creek, the Somerville area, those were the areas developing rapidly. There's a heck of a punt. That's down at the 2, by the way.
Yeah, we should give him a little props.
Yeah. Well done there by Tate McMurray, who averaged 44 yards a kick last week. And that one's pinned down there at the mark at about the 4. Here's our Low Country Chevy Dealers key player of the game. Our key player of the game, yeah, I like it. Cam Myers, right? You got an 87-yard kick return for a touchdown. And later, you'll see it. Trust me. After this kick return, Myers picked up another touchdown today, but it wasn't on the offensive side. Nope, it was this way. Kick return and a pick 6. That's your Low Country Chevy Dealers key player of the game. Stratford's going the wrong way here. That forward progress was stopped shy of the goal line. Travis Lott's back in after Robinson ran for the touchdown on their last possession. Travis Lott comes back out, probably because he's the better thrower of the two. Stretch the field a little bit down at their own 5.
Been impressed with Berkeley's size today. Marion McGill, you see him right there, number 75.
But yeah, Cane Bay opened up. Ashley Ridge opened at the exact same time. Look out. There's your guy McGill, who was chasing Lott, forcing him to throw it away. And I think it took Somerville some time to adjust. It took Stratford some time to adjust, because it used to be those two split everybody in this area. I mean, every high school athlete was going to either Stratford or Somerville. Now there's 4 or 5 schools. Fort Dorchester wasn't around prior to that either.
Right.
Fortunately for these programs, this area continues to grow at a rapid rate, and more athletes are moving into the area and being developed and grown in this area.
Well, that's when you have, the influence of what Boeing has done for this area, really all over the Low Country. But when this Volvo plant is finally built and opened up, you'll have another 3,500 to 4,000 people, not necessarily moving here, because some will obviously already be here. But, it's just another, 4,000 people, more kids moving in here with their parents. By the way, Carver's Bay beat Georgetown 18-6. I said that's a game I believe Stratford has next week.
This is not Harper's best effort, but he continues to get good
but
rolls.
Do you know why that's not his best effort?
Because he's back there in his own end zone still. It's almost a 40-yard kick.
No, because his leg is tired.
Yeah, I like the logic. I do. It's good logic right there. He's been working hard. He's probably touched it more than anyone other than the center. How about the Chevy Silverado drive of the game now? There haven't been too many extended drives in this game. We've had big plays, we've had turnovers that created short fields. But our drive of the game is going to be this one right here, the dump off to Dervon Pesnell. And he worked his way down close to about the 10. Eventually the ball gets down to the goal line. That was one of the 2 short touchdown runs for Eric Tuttle.
The thing I love about that Pesnell play is that he had blocked the guy to spring wide receiver earlier in that drive. And he comes back with a big catch. By the way, Colleton County, Fort Dorchester, they will play tomorrow. Cane Bay beat Goose Creek 22-7. Conway beat Wando 17-7. First Baptist beat Burke. West Ashley beat Bishop England. All those scores courtesy abcnews4.com.
You can check out the Friday Night Rivals highlight edition with Scott Eisberg and Darren Stoltzfus. That'll be right about 11:15.
127-mile-an-hour wind gust in Corpus Christi.
Oh, my gosh. Before I moved here, it's now been a while, 15, 16 years. You just don't understand from news coverage what the impacts of a storm like that can be. This guy's getting some good run here with the second team. Jeremiah Mack has looked very good these last 3 possessions. That's his best run of the day to set up first down just outside of 10.
Nice tackle by Sean Pringle. I like a kid who's 5'6", 130 that's going to stick his nose in there.
Yep.
Now, we talk about a lot about, we talked about it earlier, about having competition at every position. That's what Coach Robinson said. You see some of the talent now, coming in, some of these second string guys. Didn't mean to interrupt your story.
Well, it wasn't a happy one. It was. You start to learn when you're in a coastal area that the power of these storms, and it's a scary thing that's going on down there in Texas. Sam Houston State and Richmond supposed to open the football season tomorrow. That game was postponed yesterday.
And that's at Sam Houston?
Yes.
In Huntsville?
Yes.
The home of the state prison, by the way.
Cheer of the night. It is the Stratford Knights. Congratulations. More of you texted cheer A with no spaces to 44332 in appreciation of the Knights cheer. Next week and every week on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy Dealers, you'll have the chance to be interactive with us. You can always be interactive. Facebook, Twitter. Just remember that hashtag. Oh, that ball's still loose. The play was blown dead. The ball was loose. And then Stratford recovered it. So, interesting decision here. While the clock continues to run. Folks running the Stratford clock are ready to get out of here. And they've given the ball to Stratford. That's the right call.
I will tell you, as a young man growing up in Houston, my father used to take us up to the state prison in Huntsville. It's about a 90-minute drive outside of Houston, where Sam Houston State is, because they had this very unique sporting event at the prison. They would have a rodeo. They would have the Texas State Prison Rodeo. Now,
where?
Right next to the prison.
Wow.
Now, here's the great part. Do you know who rode the Bulls and the Bucking Broncos? The inmates. It was a trip.
So the inmates ride them.
Yep.
Wow.
Sure enough.
Did any of them have any type of success?
My dad.
I like the legs here of Brian Robinson. He just took a punishing blow there by Josiah Bryant, the senior defensive back, but it's another first down here for him.
My dad showed us all the culture he could, including the Texas State Prison Rodeo.
Yeah. I went to Penn State, the Pennsylvania State Penitentiary, maximum security.
Did they have a rodeo?
Not that I know of. It's only about 10 miles away from State College.
Yeah. There you go. Small known facts.
Bet you didn't think you'd come broadcast a high school football game and talk about maximum security prisons in Texas and Pennsylvania.
Or gluten-free bread.
I did get that in, didn't I?
Yeah, it was good. Would you pull that off on one of your CBS broadcasts when you're wearing the jacket with the eye on it?
I don't know if I'd pull that one off.
Come on.
Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union. Trust is everything. Look at all those turnovers. Berkeley's been the one to capitalize on them. A lot of them have been big plays, long plays. Kick return for a touchdown, some 80-yard plays. End result, the Heritage Trust Federal Credit Union crunching the numbers is a 48-19 lead with less than a minute to go for the Stags.
How long would it take for CBS to pull us off the air in one of our broadcasts?
Depends how long it takes for us to go off the rails. It probably would have been second quarter today. I think we made it to the second.
At least I get a quarter in, right?
Yeah. I don't think you get a quarter of the paycheck though. You just get.
I think people like our silly banter.
We have fun. It's high school sports. We're supposed to have fun, just like the players, just like the student athletes out there. You have fun. You give it the coverage that it deserves without the over-the-top seriousness of it all. That's what high school sports are about. Maybe another player or two left here for the Knights.
Well, Stratford will have plenty to work on this week. Protecting the football, one of them. Catching the football, another. I think their ground game is in good hands. I think once they figure out the rotation of their quarterbacks, you see that Lott can sling the ball down the field. You see Robinson's got the ability to get out in the open field and do some damage.
Stratford doesn't even run one more play right there. They're going to let this clock run out. Berkeley pulls away with 27 unanswered points to open up what was a 21-12 lead into a 48-12 game at the end of the third quarter, into fourth. And that was the story of this one. Turnovers in the third quarter, the big plays from the Stags, who have evened their record at 1 up and 1 down, sending Stratford to a season-opening loss for the Knights. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the trophy presentation. Trophy that the Stags get to bring back to Moncks Corner with them. We'll also have our player of the game. We've already named him. That's Cam Myers. And a chat with the second-year head coach, Randy Robinson, who's improved his record at Berkeley to 10-4. Stags win it in a big way over a longtime rival, the Knights, 48-19. That's the story. A big third quarter outburst for the Stags. Helped them run away from the Knights here and win it 48-19. In the midst of those gold helmets and gold pants is one Josh Rogers.
Yes, guys, back down on the field with the Stags and Coach Randy Robinson. Coach, got a nice trophy for you to take back to Monk's Corner. All right, so let's talk about that third quarter. 5 turnovers, it's 21-12, and before you know it, you guys are up huge. What happened in that third quarter?
Neither team could hang on the football. It was a little frustrating. We had a couple of shots and managed to mess them up and fumble the ball and throw an interception, but our defense played good all night long.
All right, so let's talk about player of the game, Cam Myers. What did he bring to the team today? Here he is right here. Here's the man. A kickoff return for a touchdown, a pick 6 in the third quarter. What did that energy bring to your team?
I think the pick 6 kind of was a knockout punch. I thought our kids from that point on playing real well, and I think kind of took the air out of them a little bit.
All right, so 10 points on the board last week. This week, 48. That's got to look a lot better. Where do you guys go from here as a team?
We need to make a habit out of this right here. Last week was terrible.
All right, awesome. Well, congratulations to the Stags taking the trophy back to Monk's Corner. Back to you guys in the booth.
Yeah, they're taking that trophy back to Monk's Corner. They're pretty pumped about it, and they win it 48-19. Thanks to all our sponsors for making FNR possible. Next week, we told you about it already, we're heading out to Ashley Ridge for Friday Night Rivals, driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. Final score again, 48-19. Later tonight, the ABC News 4 crew pretty happy that they're not going to be pushed back until about 12:15 to start the newscast. It'll be at 11. And Friday Night Rivals with Darren Stoltzfus and Scott Eisberg has a complete rundown of the scores from all around the Low Country. So we'll see you next week. Friday Night Rivals driven by Low Country Chevy dealers. For Josh Rogers, Dean Stevens.